My name is Amy, and I'm 26 years old. I have a 4-year-old son, Yannick, with my husband, Anthony. We got married because I was pregnant, so it was a young marriage. Anthony is not very active in parenting, and I'm mostly doing it alone, which has always frustrated me. To my surprise, I found out Anthony has a mistress. I'm wondering how to deal with this. What's up? You've been lost in thought since you hung up the phone. A friend invited me to a trip, but it's an overnight stay, so it's impossible, right? Why not? Because I can't leave Yannick behind. I'll take care of Yannick, why don't you go? Really? But it's an overnight stay. If I put my mind to it, I can take care of Yannick's needs. Taking Anthony's words to heart, I went on an overnight trip with my friend. Yannick was born right after we got married, so I never had the chance to travel. Anthony can be reliable sometimes. While enjoying a delicious dinner at the hotel, my phone rang. It was from Michelle, my mother-in-law. Oh, Amy! Yannick has collapsed and been taken to the emergency room. What? I can't get in touch with Anthony, what's going on? I'll head to the hospital right away. I was foolish to trust Anthony. He must have taken this opportunity to leave Yannick with Michelle and go on a trip with his mistress. On the way back, I spent most of the time standing, furiously calling Anthony. What? Anthony sounded annoyed. You bastard! Where are you? I'm at home with Yannick, where else? What? Yannick is being taken to the emergency room. What? You're with that woman, Cindy, aren't you? Yeah, so what? I had to break a hard truth to Anthony, who was definitely unapologetic. Did you know that Cindy is Yannick's preschool teacher? What followed was a dramatic confrontation at the hospital between me, Anthony, Cindy, and Michelle. Amy, just finished your shift? I was caught by Anthony after changing back into my clothes at the end of my shift. Haven't you taken a break in about 2 weeks? Yeah, I had exams. Are you, by any chance, aiming for university? No way, I'm not smart. Besides, I'm done with studying. Oh, we're on the same page then. So, you're planning to get a proper job? For now, yes. Will you come to this? He was holding out a concert ticket. You know I'm in a band, right? We're having a solo concert. Really? I wasn't interested, honestly. I'm prepared to make a living with my band after graduating high school. We're gonna become famous. Check out our social media. I've been posting covers of songs by bands that were popular in the 90s. Maybe if I feel like it. At that time, I brushed off Anthony's enthusiasm. He was self-centered and narcissistic. Not my type at all. Going to the concert with everyone? You can't gather that many fans? There was a buzz at work about going to Anthony's band Danger solo concert, even if not everyone could make it. I couldn't say I didn't want to go alone. You came to our concert yesterday? How was it? Our band. I couldn't bring myself to say it. I had fallen for Anthony while he was performing. The song we performed yesterday, 2 of us, I wrote the lyrics thinking of me and you. I can't play any instruments, so the other members compose the music, but I write most of the lyrics. Whether it was true or not, the thought that he wrote a song for me was pleasing. There were a lot of enthusiastic fans at the concert, so I felt a sense of superiority and specialness. After that, I started going to Anthony's band concerts regularly. At the same time, my relationship with Anthony somehow started. Anthony and I, both 17 at the time, continued dating even after graduating high school and quitting our part-time jobs. We might break up. What? Why? After graduating from high school, I started working full-time at a restaurant. Meanwhile, Anthony couldn't make a living just with the band, so he took a flexible job. Everyone started working, and it's getting harder to find time to meet. It feels like we've lost our commitment. It's like reality has hit us. We're still 20. There are bands that didn't hit it big until their mid-20s. It's because they kept at it that they finally made it. I think there's value in continuing. The direction of the band members is also diverging. There's talk of changing our style. That's a different concept altogether. It was during this time of concern for Anthony's future that I found out I was pregnant. So, you don't have to marry me. I'll raise this child on my own. I won't be a burden to you, Anthony. That's not how it works. I've made up my mind. I'll dissolve the band and get a regular job. I didn't ask for that. I love seeing you sing on stage. Anthony and I argued until the morning. Eventually, persuaded by both our parents, Anthony and I moved on to the next stage of marriage and having a baby. Again, you've made such a mess. What kind of discipline are you teaching Yannick, Amy? At least make the house a more peaceful place when I come back. What can I do? This is the reality of a house with a 4-year-old. Stop repeating the same thing every day when you come back. Yannick doesn't warm up to you because you're always yelling. Raising him all sweet and nice like you, Amy, is a form of neglect, you know. Being liked is different from being lenient. In our cramped 2-bedroom apartment, the same argument unfolds every night. Anthony gave up the band to work a regular job. But I know he still harbors feelings of what could have been if I hadn't gotten pregnant. You haven't forgotten about Yannick's preschool orientation the day after tomorrow, right? So you don't plan to work, Amy? With my meager salary, we can't make ends meet. Then you should work too. You're just making excuses not to work. I want to spend as much time as possible with him now. Once Yannick starts elementary school, he'll be more independent. So, I plan to start working part-time then. We've had this conversation countless times, but Anthony can't help bringing it up again. I held Yannick's hand and attended the orientation day. Yannick sat quietly on his chair, not crying. Amy, is that you? Turning around to the voice, I saw Catherine, my senior from high school. Catherine, your child goes to this preschool too? What a coincidence. I just moved here last month. I was feeling lonely without any mom friends, so I'm glad you're here. Really? I saw your surname Smith, so you married that boyfriend. Yes, my husband got transferred here for work. So, you married that guy from the part-time place, Anthony, right? I used to talk to Catherine about Anthony all the time in high school. She was such a good listener, I thought she should become a counselor. And she always gave me valuable advice. She was the leader of the club activity and very popular. That didn't change at the parents' meetings. Let me introduce myself again, I'm Cindy. I look forward to this year. Cindy was a new teacher, having just graduated from college. Yannick and Catherine's daughter, Mia, were in the same class. I know you parents are busy with work or other obligations, but we need to decide on committee members. It took a while, but Catherine volunteered for the most demanding role, the organizer. She hasn't changed a bit. Oh, Catherine, you were here. Unable to find Catherine and seeing Mia about to cry, I searched for them. Catherine was coming from the staff room. Sorry, I got called by Cindy. Again? Catherine, haven't you been called out by her almost every day recently? Is the organizer role that demanding? I can help you out. Well, the thing is, Cindy has even started contacting me on my cell phone. Without asking? Isn't that a breach of privacy? She's using her position as a teacher, right? Well, Cindy is new, so it must be tough for her. But she's started asking for personal advice too. If a teacher was contacting a parent personally like this, and they were of the opposite sex, it would be a huge issue. Catherine is just too nice. Amy, your husband's name is Anthony, right? I remember he was a band member, wasn't he? Yes, you remember well. Is he still active? No, he's not. We got married and had a child at 20. He disbanded and retired then. But he still keeps in touch with his band members. They formed the band when they were in middle school. Really? Didn't he do a live show recently? Recently? Oh, there was a one-day reunion concert 2 months ago. Why do you ask, Catherine? I couldn't grasp Catherine's intention. What exactly was she trying to say? Did my husband do something? He's quick-tempered and easily gets into arguments. Did he cause trouble somewhere? No, that's not it. I really need to talk to you about this. Catherine looked me straight in the eye, as if she had made up her mind. Cindy has been consulting me about a love affair. She had the chance to talk to the man she's always admired, and things escalated from there. The man is married, with a wife and child, so it seems she's become his mistress. Affair at 21? Mistress? What a mess! The man Cindy's involved with might be your Anthony. My smile faded. Anthony, my husband? You can't be serious. Anthony, 24 years old, former vocalist of the band Danger. Isn't that your husband, Amy? She knows about my husband? Yes, she recently found out. How did they meet? He's never attended a single preschool event. Not once. How did they get so close? I was on the verge of panic. I had never imagined Anthony could be unfaithful. Catherine, please tell me everything. I needed to know the truth. I've made up my mind. All right. It seemed Catherine had too. Catherine! Suddenly called out, Catherine turned toward the voice. There was Cindy. Do you have a moment to talk? Though it was time to pick up Mia and leave, Catherine's sense of urgency made her talk to Cindy. In the room, children's drawings adorned the walls. Catherine had assumed it was about the organizer role she'd taken on. I shouldn't be telling you this, but I have no one else to talk to. I'm new and haven't been able to confide in the other teachers yet. You seem reliable and trustworthy, and I hope I'm not burdening you. What's it about? Do you get along with Amy? Yes, we are friends from high school. Have you ever met her husband? Unsure where the conversation was heading, Catherine was puzzled. Come to think of it, I've never met her. Her husband used to be in a band called Danger. Did you know that? Yes. I was in middle school back then, but a huge fan of Danger. Especially Anthony, the vocalist. So, you had a crush on Amy's husband? Yes, but they disbanded suddenly after 4 years because Anthony had a child and was getting married. It's been 4 years since. After the band disbanded, there was no chance to see them. So, I had to give up. Then, at the 10th anniversary of their agency, Danger had a one-day comeback concert. Of course, I went. Anthony looked the same and his voice hadn't changed. It was like being transported back to my middle school days. I was so focused on Anthony. After the concert, I waited outside to give him a letter. He remembered me. I was so happy, I cried. So, after hearing Cindy's feelings, what am I supposed to do? Cindy was pouring out her feelings so much that Catherine couldn't see an end to it. Being subjected to a preschool teacher's trip down memory lane, what was Catherine supposed to do with that? Oh, sorry. I just wanted to tell you how much I loved Anthony. I even wrote my contact information in the letter I gave him. Then, I couldn't believe it when Anthony himself contacted me. I thought I was dreaming. So, you've been exchanging messages and calls since then? Seeing the conversation could go on forever, Catherine tried to steer it to a conclusion. So, did you actually meet up? Yes, we met. Cindy said with sparkling eyes. Is Anthony currently seeing someone? Why do you ask? I was wondering if there might be a chance for me, if you're single. And if he isn't, would you just give up? No. I won't give up. Good. From that day on, for Cindy, it was as if she was living a dream. Anthony, once out of reach, was now right before her eyes. And she was intoxicated with happiness, gradually facing reality. Anthony, here's today's menu. Saying this, Cindy handed him a paper with the day's cookable menu items. A now routine practice. Anthony is picky with food, so the challenge was always to hit the mark with the perfect meal for him. "Cindy, get me a drink." In their cramped one-room apartment, Anthony, closer to the fridge, made Cindy do everything. And Cindy didn't mind. She wanted to take care of him. "I'm in the mood for fast food today." After she had bought all these ingredients and prepared everything, he opted for fast food. Yet, she couldn't complain. Being disliked was the last thing she wanted from Anthony. Her forever crush who had finally noticed her. "Then, I'm heading home." "You won't stay the night, huh?" "I can't sleep if the pillow's different. Plus, this place is far from my work." Skillfully dodging the issue, Anthony left. Was he living with another woman? Or could he even be married? Cindy always felt uneasy. "Anthony, I bought you some casual clothes to wear around the house. That helps. I'm always in suits, after all. Oh, and I'm going to trim your toenails, so take off your socks. I bought you underwear and socks too. You're young but very attentive, Cindy." "I have to be. We only have limited time together. Making the house comfortable and relaxing is key." Just recently, Anthony had told her about his wife and child. "By the way, Cindy, what do you do for work again?" "Anthony, you forget too quickly. Aren't you listening? I'm a preschool teacher." "Oh, right, you did say that. Anthony, you quit the band and became a regular employee, right? Wasn't that hard?" "I don't want to talk about work. Just mentioning it brings my mood down." "Oh, please don't be mad." The last thing Cindy wanted was to be disliked by Anthony. Elevating Anthony, taking care of him, that was what she believed she was supposed to do now. Days later, Cindy discovered Anthony was Yannick's dad, a child in her class. "Yannick, did you bring your water bottle?" As Yannick fumbled with his locker, Cindy approached. She checked his bag in his stead. Found it. When Cindy took out the water bottle, she noticed a photo sticker on it and was shocked. "Yannick, is this your dad in the photo?" Yannick nodded. "No way." The man doing a peace sign right behind Yannick was unmistakably Anthony. Hearing about it was one thing, but realizing Anthony was married was another shock. Especially that he was Yannick's dad. Cindy naturally thought of Amy. So, Amy was Anthony's wife. "And just before, I was trying to convince Cindy to break it off with Anthony." Catherine finished her careful explanation. "If this gets out, it's going to be big. Amy, you should really nail down your husband. A preschool teacher and a parent having an affair is no laughing matter." Even so, I couldn't bring myself to confront Anthony about it. Not helping with chores or parenting, and now an affair? What does he think he is? His salary isn't even that good, not someone worth being a mistress for. I had so much I wanted to say, but for some reason, I was afraid. That's when a high school classmate invited me on a trip. And then, during my absence, Yannick was rushed to the emergency room. Michelle, my mother-in-law, was anxiously waiting at the hospital. "Oh, Amy! How's Yannick?" "He's in a treatment now. Seems like he was dehydrated, but he's okay now. He can be discharged tomorrow." "Oh, good." Then Anthony and Cindy arrived a bit later. Michelle repeated the explanation. "But Amy, leaving 4-year-old Yannick to go on a trip, what were you thinking? He'll be independent soon enough, couldn't you wait? Honestly, you only think about yourself. He was sick even before you left for your trip, but you were too focused on your vacation to notice. If Yannick had collapsed then, you wouldn't have been able to go, would you? Isn't this essentially neglect?" It's no wonder Anthony turned to another woman. You have no right to blame him. I just wish Cindy could become his wife soon. I was shocked that Michelle knew Cindy. Behind the scenes, Anthony and Cindy had grown closer, unbeknownst to me. But wasn't this Anthony's responsibility? "But I went on the trip because Anthony said he would take care of everything. Isn't it unfair to blame only me?" "Well, you have some nerve to say that. As a wife and a mother, shouldn't your priority be your husband and child? Just because Anthony promised to take care, doesn't mean you should have accepted. Normally, you would decline such an invitation. You lack self-awareness, Amy. And it's not like you're perfect at home chores and parenting, everything's half-baked. No wonder Anthony seeks refuge with Cindy. Are you justifying the affair? I'm saying it's your fault this happened. What had Anthony been telling Michelle? He must have badmouthed me quite a bit. What does Anthony want to do now? Be with Cindy? To prevent Michelle from attacking further, I turned the focus to Anthony. Is it true that Cindy is Yannick's preschool teacher? Yes, it's true. Right, Cindy? Yes, it's true. But isn't it a bit weak to criticize us just because I'm his preschool teacher? Is it wrong? If Anthony dislikes it, I could even quit my job. I'm that serious. What does Anthony want? What about the future? With everything out in the open, there was no escaping or denying. The answer lay with Anthony. For my part, I don't see what I've done wrong. I've been taking on household and parenting responsibilities alone. After dumping all that on me, creating an affair is just insulting to a wife. I had to give up my youth because of the shotgun wedding. I had to let go of so many things at just 20. Above all, I had to disband the band. Amy, do you realize you took away so many things from me and then tied me down with marriage? Anthony's true colors showed. I knew he still had many things he wanted to do. Dreams. But he felt he had no choice but to marry. However, that was the same for me. But a baby isn't something I could have on my own. We didn't take precautions, knowing a baby could result, so it's not solely my responsibility. So, I married you, didn't I? Taking responsibility. Why so high and mighty? Anthony and I are supposed to be equals. Equals? I'm slaving away at the company every day. I'm the outlet for my boss's stress, enduring the shouting, all because I have a family to support. Do you have any idea how much I suffer? Coming home to you shouting and the house in disarray. Who would want to come home to that? You boast about doing chores, but from my view, it's as if you've done nothing. Laundry piles up, my underwear and shirts are never ready, always wrinkled because you don't iron them, getting scolded by my boss for not looking neat. You only vacuum when you feel like it. The cooking's half-hearted, mostly pre-made dishes. Honestly, I didn't want to come home. You created that atmosphere, Amy. You blame me for the low salary, yet you shop online for all sorts of things. I've suggested you work too, since you're always complaining about not having money. You're just using parenting as an excuse to run away. With Cindy and Michelle as his allies, Anthony spoke freely. I do appreciate that Anthony chose to be a regular office worker and provide for us. Cindy is different. She dedicates herself to me, manages the household perfectly, and creates a comfortable environment. I can relax and be my true self with her. There's no pretense or need to pretend, it's the ideal family for me. Hearing this from him left me at a loss for words. The more I complain to Anthony now, the more it puts me at a disadvantage. Please let me have Anthony. I can create the ideal home for him that you're talking about. Cindy, who had been humbling herself, gradually revealed her true nature. Anthony was starving for a taste of home. He was so moved when I cooked dishes like stews. I realized he must not get to eat like this normally. Sure, Anthony can be a bit of a chauvinist, but I think that's because he feels safe at home. You've let yourself go, haven't you? Among the moms, you're definitely on the younger side, but you look so tired, like you don't care about your appearance. From Anthony's perspective, it's like fraud. The young, cute, and lively wife he had has turned into just another tired woman. I don't want to hear such things from you, Cindy. Complaining about the wife in front of the mistress is a typical move of unfaithful men. Didn't you realize that? Did you intentionally have a child to trap Anthony, telling him it was safe when it was actually your fertile period? It was a planned marriage, wasn't it? Anthony, being the kind person he is, fell right into your trap. Please, just let him go. I decided it was a waste of time to continue this futile argument. How dare she say such things so openly? She can only say this because she's not the one raising a child. From that day, Anthony stopped coming home, and I couldn't stand being in such an environment anymore. Even as I was searching for ways to mend things, Cindy got pregnant. I didn't hesitate to divorce. Anthony and Cindy got married right away. All that complaining, and to end up in another shotgun marriage is just laughable. She'll learn that marriage isn't a child's plaything. Got a message from Cindy yesterday. Catherine mentioned this as soon as we met at the preschool pickup. Cindy had quit the preschool after getting pregnant and marrying. Are you still in touch with Cindy? It's just her messaging me. The baby was born, right? Yes, a boy. But she's finding parenting much harder than expected, struggling to balance it with household chores. She and Anthony argue every day. This is exactly the same pattern as before. Cindy and Anthony both had unrealistic expectations about marriage. Now they're seeing how different reality is. Anthony hasn't changed at all. They both disillusioned with reality. Catherine and I shared, and just 2 weeks later, Cindy and Anthony are getting a divorce. Divorce? Already? Their marriage lasted less than a year. This must be because Anthony fundamentally lacks respect for the women he impregnates. He doesn't love children. He just likes making them. That's why he can't truly love them once they're born. Amy, is Anthony paying child support? Well, it's a little, but yes, he is. So, he'll have to pay Cindy too, which will really stretch him thin. Serves him right. Money can't solve everything, but unless Anthony changes, nothing will. I'm planning to open a select shop online, running it by myself. But having one more person would really help. If you're interested, Amy, why don't you join me? Of course, Yannick comes first. An offer I couldn't refuse. A place where even I could work. I'll show that I can raise my child well, even without a verbally abusive husband.